some of these internal. The reason why I like to break people down is because while he has his legs and his arms underneath him, he has a very good chance of standing up. And particularly if I don't have my hands connected around him, then he has a very good chance of standing up and not letting him take him down again. So oftentimes when we're trying to get our feet in or our hands in and they're really balled up here, it's a good time to think about putting them down for a hip. So I like this jumping position to start with because it's a bit humiliating for them. And it also lets me feel when the head's coming up. And now I'm going to put my left knee next to his knee and I just grab a hip grip. And so now when I start pulling him over, I want to move my knee as soon as I feel like he's falling. So as soon as he falls, they're very likely to be up on this elbow or the hand, one or the other. And my forearm is doing the job of of just keeping his hips down. So now I replace my forearm with my shin and I'm trying to pinch his knees together here. So if I can pinch his knees together, and my left knee behind his hip and my right knee kind of in front of the hips, now he's in a not very athletic spot. So I'll just show you like the basic back take from here, and then we'll go over some more smushing options. But while I'm here, I'm going to take my left hand and get towards the handcuff, and my right hand is going to be a claw. So I pretty much have a seatbelt grip, but just a little bit of a different idea. I've got two underhooks, so now I can open my elbow and start putting his head in the back. So from here, if my right knee can slide backwards and start straightening out his legs, then now it's pretty hard for them to do very much. So we can come and belly down, which we'll do next, but just to kind of keep it moving, we'll take it back. So it's just like a chair sit. My left knee slides up, my right foot steps over. Now I sit on my hip and I can fall to the side, and then we can get straight into our body triangle and look to start swinging. So when our partner's internal, we're going to start in this jumping position. We're always trying to get cheek hooks in, always trying to thread our feet in, but when we can't and we're worried about them standing up, we're going to put knee next to knee, hand on the hip, and I just let my leg fall to the side. My arm can go long so I can swing him a little bit. As soon as I feel like he's falling, I pull his hip to the ground. So if he stays down on his shoulder, then we just have all our normal chair sit back take stuff. But when they're trying to get up on this elbow, for example, that's where we want to start thinking about putting weight back on top of him so that he can't get back up again. If they are on their hand instead of their elbow, then we can wrap the elbow and break him down back to the elbow. So now my forearm is keeping the hips down, and I'm going to slide my right shin across his thighs, and I start using my foot curled back to keep his knees together. So if Andreas is up on this elbow, then now is a good time to start reaching for the handcuff. Because if I reach too early, I'm letting that pressure come off his hips, whereas now I have his hips pinned. If we need to pass it towards my other hand, then now I have a good handcuff here. So when we go for the claw, the idea is get this hand just on the side of the neck here, and my shoulders up high over his shoulder. So when I open my right elbow, that can take away his post. And if he's trying to build up again, I can just keep taking away his post until his shoulders are on the mat. So now, if they're really balled up here, then it's hard for us to get our hook in. When I use my right knee to slide and put his body in a straight line, and this is where we'll be pretty happy on the belly here. We'll do some arm triangles next, but the back is here as well, so we can slide left knee up and step our right foot across the hips, tucking it in. Now when I sit on my left hip, I'm trying not to let my back touch the ground, and I want to fall all the way to the side where we have good control of the arm and the top shoulder, so we can start the body triangle and then attacking the back from here. So I'll show it one more time, and then you guys can practice. We're at partner's turtles, we're in the jumping position, left knee next to knee, we've got our hip grip, pull the hip to the ground and put our forearm there. Your partner will be up on the elbow. We're going to bring our knee across the thighs, start reaching for the handcuff, reaching for the claw, and now we can start moving our chest forward, opening our elbow to flatten them out. We can slide our right knee back, left knee comes up, right foot steps over, and we can start taking it back in a nice controlled way. Cool. Let them go. We don't want to stop them being athletic. So in our jockey position, we're putting that left knee next to the knee, using our hand to sling their hip to the ground. And now if they're up on this elbow, like they're trying to be athletic here, we're over the top, right? So same steps as before. My shin is going to come into that across the hips position. And now we can start reaching for the hand and our handcuff. And then from here, when we get to our claw grip, which is where we're in front of the chest, so under the arm and underneath the neck, and I'm opening this elbow up, and now it's very hard for them to be athletic here, particularly when we straighten the legs out and they're in alignment. So when I use my knees, that's good, and then I can start stepping my feet together as well. So now my feet are pinched together around his knees. I don't feel like he's getting up anytime soon, and we can do two different styles of arm triangle. So the first style is when we take our arm out, and we're going to use our arm that's underneath his head to start flattening his shoulders to the mat. So when we're here, obviously I want to take the back, like we just did, and if Andreas puts his back on the mat, then that's going to let me get to my arm triangle. And just like Tommy did last time, I really like the way he explained his finishing steps, and they were pushing the head in towards the bicep so that there's no gap on this side. And now we're trying to push the shoulder into the neck so there's no gap on this side. And now I make sure that my shoulder is below his chin. So when I link my hands together in an S grip or a gable grip and I have my forearms in a line, I let my hips come off to the side, nice and low, and my chest is low on the back here. So now I can start moving my head towards his head, pushing his shoulder into his neck, and we can squeeze. So with our arm triangle finish, we want to think about getting shoulder to wrist, because that's taking away all this space. And we want to think about getting our chest nice and low so that as we come towards the middle, they're closing everything off and smushing it all together. So in this one, same kind of position, we're breaking them down, getting our shin across the hips, and even if they're not up on this elbow, all of this is still true. I'm just usually just cupping the bottom shoulder here, and we can usually get this hand underneath the arm here. So now when I start shooting my arm through, deep is good, and if you have long arms, that's definitely a plus. But if you're shorter of length, just try and put your shoulder underneath their chin a little bit, and that will help rotate your hand a lot further through. So now if I can straighten him out in a line, and then keep him straightened out with my feet, basically I'm in a side mount or side back position, so whichever way he goes, we're pretty good. In this case, we'll work on when they go back flat, because now, as long as I keep my head touching his head, then we should be doing a good job of keeping that arm isolated. So if we try and finish the arm triangle now, it's not wrong, but there's often going to be a little bit of space here. So if I can push his head in towards my elbow, and then push his shoulder in towards my neck, in towards his neck, now I can link my hands together. And as long as I move my hip down low a little bit, just like Tommy was saying, and we get our shoulder underneath the chin, then when I flatten myself out, my thigh is across the hip, so I'm still in the mount, and there's no way they can tip. And then my chest is more or less flat on the mat. So here when I start squeezing my shoulder to my wrist, be patient with it. If that doesn't work, we start lifting our chin towards the eye socket to get that finish. One more time. We're here, we're blocking, hip blocking, pinning the legs together, looking for our handcuff and our claw, flattening them out, doing a little bit of prep work so that they're definitely not athletic. And then one last thing is, if my hand that's cuffing the handcuff, if I can put my knee over the top of his hand, when I take my arm out, it means that when I flatten him out, or he flattens himself out, now we have that arm trap as well. So now I can push the head towards the bicep, shoulder towards the neck, and then we're just getting our hips flat, low to the mat, and we start sprawling in until we get the tap. Cool, let's go. But if you wanted to practice this or ask me about this another time, I'll show you a variation of an arm triangle where after we've broken it down and we've gotten to our claw and waffle right position. Now here, some people will basically still try and turtle, or they're not letting me put their back flat on the mat. So if we can get a figure 4 grip with our hand in front of our face, now we do that same chair sit motion that we did before. Our left knee slides up, our right foot tucks in, and I don't really know how this one works, to be honest, but I know that if I just sit and start squeezing, like it comes on really quickly. Like, it's a weird angle. When it's done to you, it feels horrible, and it's not the cleanest stroke in the world, but it's not that dirty either. So I don't know what this is called. I call it the ugly rear naked choke, because basically I wanted to flatten him out, but when I can't and I can get to a figure 4, sometimes squeezing straight down for the arm triangle can work because his shoulder is on top of his neck, our wrist is underneath it, and we're doing a good job of pinching either side. But if you just chair sit here, so left knee slides up, just like a rear naked choke where I get to pull my right elbow back into my hip, and you won't even get, like, that's really loose. You won't be able to chair sit that far. So that's a really good way to hang on to it.